Hi there, it's Lori at Positive Thanks Living, and this is my desk. This is the project that I've been working on. Yeah, sometimes difficult things come out to be pretty sometimes. I've been working on watercoloring. I wanted to do it for last week, but I wasn't ready. And I finally came to the decision that, well, I'm not an artist yet, or I don't do watercolor well yet. I need my 10,000 hours or whatever. But I'm going to do it anyhow on this Cascade Journal, and I'm using watercolor paper. It's not expensive. I'm cutting the sheet in half, and I'm making a cascade or a waterfall journal that's going to be watercolored. It's going to have watercolor on it. I'm going to play with some kind of watercoloring. Now you can see that they're cut in half, and I've scored them so that it becomes a cascade, a waterfall. And there's an inch between each one. So you see they're all the same length, but they will be one side is 1 inch longer, the other side is, and it just keeps going. It's a cascade. There's enough other videos out there showing you the technique of actually doing it, and I have a feeling that you know exactly how to do this. If not, leave a comment and I'll find you a video, or I'll do one, I guess. But there's the concept, and because the paper is so heavy, I clipped it closed, the ones that I'd done for a while, to make sure that they would bend properly. And I'll sew in a signature, a 3-hole signature, and I'll add perhaps 1 or 2 of those ones that I've already finished. Now, I practiced my watercoloring, and I'm linking below to the artist that I tried. The heart thing did not work for me, and I gave up. So again, I need many more hours of practice. I also used a white gel pen or Posca pen, and I tried out black and I didn't like it. So this is how I started. I have a medium here that is Winsor Newton iridescent medium to add to my watercolor paint. The paint is very inexpensive. I got like 24 paints, but I want to use them up. Use what you have, right? And the colors that I'm using are violet, magenta, crimson, red, and I'm reading them now, they're in front of me, rose. I ended up not liking the crimson red, and I'm sure there's some color theory that goes with that, why I didn't like it with the others. But again, I'm not a watercolor artist. I just play. And I'm giving you a caveat here. This is not a tutorial. Please, this is not a tutorial. Below you're going to find a link to the artist that I followed so that I could do some of this sort of well. At least enough. It's a difficult road. It led me to be able to do this enough so that it turned out okay, I think. The paper bows when you add water to it. So that's why I'm taping it down. And I have seen watercolor artists tape their paper down. Now, I ended up having a problem when I pulled it up, and you're going to see as I decorate, I'm going to show you what happened. And I probably should have, multiple things didn't work out the way I would have hoped they would. But you know what? That's what this junk journaling, this artistic endeavor is all about. We can make things work even if it's not perfect, right? It's about progress. And I'm going to make progress with this watercolor this year. It'll take me probably all year just to keep practicing, but I will. And I really like this artist. I love her, the tone of her voice. I have headphones and I stream videos while I'm working in my craft room. And her voice is lovely to listen to. And yeah, I'll just follow along with her. Again, the link is below. So I'm covering each side of these 5 sheets with a color, one for each sheet. And this is the general idea. I add some water, I add some paint, I try and make it look interesting with varying degrees of success. It's okay. And I just want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you. I'm really happy to be together, to try, that you're willing to watch me try. I bet you will try some too, I hope. We're all in this craft, this art exploration together. And I love to share what I'm learning, even the mistakes. So I'm going to show you very soon all of them that I painted. And that one that is very red, that's the one that I decide not to use. And I'll show you what I use later. That's my practice. Yeah. So again, a link below to the artist video that I tried to follow. So now I'm going to try some of her pattern techniques. And I don't give you a long time to see me doing this because I don't do it very well. They're supposed to be petals, and she does a great job, a design on her page that is lovely. Now I don't mind what I ended up with, and again, it's all about exploration and trying things. Have you tried exploring something recently that you haven't done before? Have you had success? Did it end up in the bin or the garbage or the trash? I ended up with a lot in the trash from these last 2 weeks of attempting watercolor painting. And that's okay too, because we are learning, right? Yeah. Now this video turned out to be a little longer than usual because I'm showing you the entire process from starting with the plain papers and not counting the practice I did. It took me 2 days to put the video together. So I've done a lot of editing and I've sped up some of these segments that I'm showing you. And I just wanted to give you the highlight because what we're exploring this week is Cascade journals. So there's the first page and the second page. And I'm deciding how they go together. I liked the circle thing, how they bled into each other. That worked really well. And I decided to replace that one with a practice one that I'd done before. And I'm just trying to decide the way it will go so that we notice the cascade. And you can see where I had the tape down. It's white, and I'm not sure I particularly like it, but I'm going to do something about it in a little bit. I used some white gel pen to make designs, and I might do that elsewhere. But now it's time to bind it together with, I'm going to show you what I do to the edges after it's bound. And I might have made the choice of doing something about the edges ahead of time. But again, if I were to do this, I would be much more careful taping the tape down, more deliberate. And I might have chosen to leave them white. But they weren't even, and they weren't all the way from top to bottom on all of them. So it was an experiment. I'm poking 3 holes through using the binder clips to hold it firmly together. And I measure out the waxed linen thread to 3 times the height. Now I'm not showing you the actual 3-stitch pamphlet stitch because I realized I went off camera, and showing you the very edges will be more frustrating than actually seeing it. So if you ever need me to do a pamphlet stitch for you, I'd be happy to do that on camera, and I'll work to stay within the frame. Still, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. I'm holding on to that idea. It looks good, doesn't it? I mean, and I'm clipping it again so that the paper is trained to close like a book. And then I'm going to go on and I'm going to address the edges. I decided to paint them all purple. And I used scrap paper between each page to make sure that the paint didn't go on where I didn't want it to go on. I'm showing you there. And again, it probably would have been better had I done this before I did the sewing of the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Yeah, gotta learn, right? Gotta learn. And I went through all of them and tried to make sure that only the purple went where the edge of the page was. I liked using brushes, and I've realized that brushes, for me, I prefer larger ones. So I did some decorating. This is the next day. And now we're going to decorate. I have all these items on my desk to use. I've done some die cutting with my Cricut Extra. I have some things that I've printed. I printed these statements and then on vellum and used my die cut Big Shot to cut them out. I have these items my daughter gave me, and these I painted a book page and cut out hearts. Yeah, see, there's the cutout part. And the book was just a coloring book that I have had for years, at least 7 or 8. And I realized I'm not a coloring person to sit down and color detailed ones, so I decided let's just put some paint on top. And that's what I did. So I'll use them. And I also used these pearlescent perfect pearls. I'll link below to what they are. Originally I was going to add more, but I wanted to get this project done today, so I didn't add any more because they have to dry for a while. Those I did overnight. Yep, kindness matters, for sure. And this is one that I did last week or the week before, and I'm going to add it as a pocket. Glue it in. You have to make sure that what you're gluing in or what you're doing doesn't show on the next page, because being a cascade is kind of about a surprise. You turn the page and there's a surprise. Now, one of them, it wasn't a surprise, but yeah. And I realized I had to be very generous with the art glitter glue, because the paint on the paper, whether it's the paper being watercolor paper or whether it's the medium, the iridescent medium, or whether it's the watercolor itself, yeah, it took a little more glue than normal to adhere that pocket. And I didn't know whether I wanted to use the negative space of those things that I die cut out or how I wanted to handle it. So just looking through things. Do I want a heart there? Nah, it looked too small. And I decided that cutout circle from the coloring book was what I wanted. It seemed to fit the space, use up enough space, and it echoed a little bit of those faux petals. So I glued it on there. A little later you're going to see something that I did as a surprise. Yeah, that's where I cut it out. Now I wanted to do just the Love die cut. It's just a white index card weight, and I didn't like the stark white of it, so I decided to use distress ink. And my pink ink, yeah, I still haven't gotten a re-inker. It comes next week. So I decided to do purple. And it's not a lot of purple, just a bit of a color. And this mat that I have it on is sticky. I saw somebody who makes cards use that kind of mat, and I liked the idea because I usually chase the piece of paper that I want to ink all around my slippery mat. So this is just enough grip that what I want to ink sticks, and then I can remove it without any damage. And more glue to glue it down. How are you doing? Are you well? I hope you're having a good week. I hope that you're enjoying doing some crafting. Yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're crafting. I'd love to know. Now this is vellum, and with art glitter glue, the vellum makes a mark. So I decided I wanted to have a frame around the vellum. So I cut it out with my die cut, and then I embossed it. And you're going to see where I have a little oops, but again, it's not about perfection. It's about making what happens work. So I want to ink it. Now remember, this is not real heavy cardstock. And I ink, and because it's been embossed, it's lost the strength, the integrity that it would have if it was just plain. So I've inked it, and it's stuck to this mat that usually has no problem when I want to lift it up. But it broke. In more than one spot. And I think to myself, do I have to start over? Nope, I'm going to try it. I'm going to make it work. And if there is a hole in the top, I'm going to use it to my advantage. And I'm going to find something to put on top of it. So let's glue down this vellum, and you're going to see how it makes marks on the page. And vellum is tricky that way. That's why I wanted to have a frame over top, and you're going to see what else I do for the other pieces of vellum in the journal. And then I glue the frame around it, leaving a gap where it broke, using a mistake to my advantage. At least that's how I'm taking it. I'm sure you've had oopses in your crafting that you've made work for you. Here we go, trying to put it down. Nope, put it down properly. I almost put it off center, which wouldn't have been bad. It would just... And I used one of the hearts that I cut out from that you see at the top there to cover up the gap. And I think it looks nice. Yep, I think that one. That one, smaller? What do you think? Bigger? Nope, not that one. Not those. That one. I'm going to go with that one. And I glue it on. I had fun finding quotes and making up things for this journal. Yep. Doing good is a muscle to be developed. Let's exercise the do good muscle today. It's time to do good. And the vellum. Now, because it's on the white cardstock, it doesn't show through too badly. And at the end, you're going to see when I do the flip through that it looks fine. I don't try to fix it in any way or add something to disguise it. I was thinking of doing the pearl things, but they have to dry, and ideally overnight, and I wanted to be finished this video because it's Saturday as I'm recording this voiceover, and I upload it so that it's ready for Sunday morning if anybody wants to watch it. I invite you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I would love to interact with you and show you more. And if you have any suggestions of what to do, I'd be happy to try it. It won't necessarily be successful or fully successful, but I'm willing to try. And here I put down another vellum, and I'm going to have the same glue issue, and it won't be completely hidden when I close the front too. Doing well is a result of doing good. I found that was from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And if you remember last week about doing good, often those that are grammar focused, they would say we don't do good, we do well. But they're talking about the value of performance. So Ralph Waldo Emerson, he fixed that. He said doing well is a result of doing good. So, and I'm showing you those again because I thought I would be doing it, but I didn't have time. So I came up with I think it was a good solution. I'll be showing you very soon. And I couldn't decide what to put on that one. It just didn't seem to be, yeah. So I decided to put the heart on the front. Simple. And I'll probably continue to embellish this journal as I learn more. But right now it's more like a coffee table kind of thing, piece of art. It'll sit up on the top of my shelves. Yeah, more about that at the end. I'll be showing my craft room and I'll explain why and how. Yeah, glue around a very thin, narrow die cut. Those die cuts you see on the top right, my daughter gave to me, and so I'm incorporating them into my junk journaling. I'm using art glitter glue. There is no glitter in the glue, it's just the name of the company. There it is. And I have a little smudge because the watercolor from the glue becomes wet Nah. And there's the problem. When I lifted up the tape, it tore the paper. Now, how are we going to fix that? Well, I decided to put something down over top of it. So we cover it up, make it look deliberate. And I like the square concept because it corresponds with the page that was next to it. Now, glue sometimes, again, this is very thin paper. This glue will show through sometimes. And so I'm trying to be careful where I put it. Think ahead. I put a lot in the middle. You can see it shows up. I put a lot in the middle because I knew I was going to put the heart over top of that. And the heart is very strong paper. It's in between cardstock and index card weight. So it'll cover up and it won't show through. Thinking ahead is a big part of this kind of crafting. I'm not saying I'm particularly advanced at that, but I've been doing this now, for a while, a few years. And it's funny, I kind of remember from before what to do and what not to do. So the thinking it through part, it becomes easier. Smiling. That's one way to do good. It impacts others. A smile is contagious in a good way. It's been proven scientifically just by physically moving your mouth in the shape of a smile can change your body chemistry. Watching people smile, other people, seeing people smile, true smiles, even laughter, can help our own mood. So, a part of doing good can be just smiling. And I'm thinking about what else I can add, what else I can do. Nope, that won't go there. But it will go there. Do you audition things? You know, when you want to decorate, you sort of show yourself what it might look like, and you say, is that a good place to put it? I think I heard Rachel at Roxy Creations, she uses that term, auditioning. You take a piece that you want to add to your artwork and you ask yourself, is this going to look good there? Meh, maybe. And I'm going to have the same problem with the glue showing through the vellum there, but I came up with an idea to solve it. Let me show you a flip through. Here it is, Waterfall Journal. It's quite stiff, the watercolor paper, so it stands up beautifully. The feeling of touching it, it's very tactile. And I have cut out dots and hearts from my practice pages. I used clear embossing powder and heated it so that it was shiny. Another surprise, I just decided to cut a heart in there. So being a Cascade Journal, you can see through to the other side. And we have the vellum pocket. And the love, I'm trying to show you that it is shiny. There it is. There's the Waterfall Journal, all in one video. Coming up on January 28th, I'm going to be participating in a collaboration showing my craft room. I'll tell you a little bit more about that next week. But until then, Take care. It's Lori at Positive Thanks Living. And next week we're going to do something with envelopes that will cascade. Bye for now.